Hey friends, welcome back to Stappystamper. My name is Terry Stapp and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Central Texas. Today we're going to talk about the October 2025 paper pumpkin kit. This video is going to happen in 3 parts. So in part 1, I'm going to show you the 3 cards that are made as suggested according to the directions that are included in the kit. In part 2, I'm going to add a few little things, but still pretty much stay true to the kit. So if you don't have a bunch of extra cardstock, or you don't have a die cutting machine, or other stamps and stuff, I'm still going to use the materials. I'm just going to zhuzh it up a little bit. And then in part 3, I'm going to really I'm going to dig into what supplies I have, maybe other stamps, embossing folders, die cuts, etc. And show you some cards that I came up with that go above and beyond what's in the kit. So to get started, I just want to talk about the kit. I have unboxed it already, and we're going to go through some of the materials. So the kit comes all packaged up in this wonderful little box. Most of the time they are just an orange box. I have one right here. Looks like this. But every now and then, for certain holidays and seasons, they will come up with a beautiful box. So it comes to you, to your mailbox, in this box. You unpack it, and in it you're going to find instructions. So it shows you what the cards look like if you made them according to their directions. And then there's directions. There's 3 cards. This particular box makes 3 cards of 3 different styles, so 9 total cards. And so here's card 1, and it gives you the directions on how to make card 1, directions on how to make card 2, and directions on how to make card 3. Okay. In this box, in this particular kit, you're going to find the stamps. So every paper pumpkin kit comes with a stamp set. Yours to keep. You purchase this with your paper pumpkin kit. The first time that you purchase a paper pumpkin kit, it's going to come with a little like acrylic block that you can use to put the stamps on. So you're going to need something. These peel off, and you're going to need something to put the stamp on so that you can put it in the ink and stamp it on something. So your very first paper pumpkin box is going to come with an acrylic block that you're going to keep and use every month with your stamps. Every paper pumpkin kit also comes with a stamping spot. So these are the same colors that are in the regular catalog, that are the regular size. This is not the same color, but this is the size that it would be. The paper pumpkin kits come with these little stamping spots. So this is pecan pie. And then every paper pumpkin kit comes with different adhesives and embellishments to make the cards. This particular kit has a sheet of the large dimensionals. It has glue dots. It has tearing tape. And then it comes with these red sequins. Every paper pumpkin kit that has cards. Now, some of the paper pumpkin kits are not cards. They might be craft projects, calendars. I think next month for November, they are gift card boxes. If you're making cards that month, it's going to come with envelopes. So there are 9 envelopes with this kit because we're making 9 cards. It's going to come with the card bases if you're making cards. So there's 3 card bases that look like this, 3 that look like this, and 3 that look like this. And then it's going to come with all of the ephemera that you're going to need to put the cards together. So you have some letters, you have some images, you have some matte pieces, you have the cutouts that you're going to stamp on. This one looks like it's going to be for like Merry Christmas, and you just stamp right on here. So these are all of the different pieces that are going to come with this month's paper pumpkin kit. But no matter what month, if you're making cards, it's going to come with everything you need to put the cards together. Part 1 that I'm going to do next is going to be just what the cards look like if you follow these directions to make the cards. Okay, here is part 1. These are the 3 cards made with the October 2025 paper pumpkin kit as intended by the directions. So I didn't use anything else. I didn't need a paper trimmer. I didn't need any other stamp sets, any other inks, any other embellishments. I did use a bone folder to give my cards a nice crease. I used my take your pick tool to easily pick up the sequins. And then rather than using the glue dots, I did use my stamp and seal. But none of these are necessary to make the cards as is. So let's look at the cards and what they look like when they're made as is according to the directions. So this is the first card. It's on the red card base, and it has the little notched mat here. I don't know if you can tell on the video, but the green parts here and then the red part, the lines here in the star are flocked. So it's kind of a velvety texture. I stamped Merry Christmas with the stamp that came with the set. And then I put the 3 sequins on the front of the card. And then it just opens up, and that is the inside. And then there's an envelope. All of the envelopes are the same in this kit. Sometimes they'll have different patterns, different colors on the envelopes, but this time they're all the same. So that's card number 1. Really cute, made as is. The second card looks like this. Joy to the world. The letters, the red letters here are punch outs, and then you glue these down on top of a white base that's cut out. This piece and this piece are separate. The red parts are on the piece with the white base, and then you stamp to the world, so joy to the world. You put all of these pieces together. Here I glued the green to the back of here, and then you add dimensionals. I think you can see those down in there to make everything pop up, and then there are sequins, and then 3 more sequins there. This one opens this way from the bottom with plenty of room to write your message. Once again, there's the envelope. And then card number 3 looks like this. The ornament is in 2 pieces. The red part is 1 piece, and then the green with the kind of creamy base is another piece. You glue those 2 together. There is a separate topper here. You put the topper with the ornament, pop all of those up on dimensionals, stamp deck the halls, and then glue everything down, and then you have your sequins there, and it opens up to the inside, and then you have an envelope as well. So 3 beautiful cards. For this particular set, you really wouldn't need to do anything different. They're beautiful, beautiful cards. And you might just make them all according to the directions. But part 2, I am going to add in a few little things that I have. I'll add some extra cardstock, maybe some extra embellishments or supplies that I have. I will do different card layouts for each of the 3 cards, so you can see some different options. And I'm not going to get crazy with it and use a bunch of different things, though. I'll probably use a paper trimmer, maybe some different embellishments. I love the stamps, so I'll probably keep the same stamps. But we'll see what I come up with. So that will be part 2. So keep watching, and part 2 is coming. Okay, let's take a look at the part 2 cards. So for these cards, I stayed true to the kit, used the kit materials, and only added in a little bit of cardstock and some ribbon. So I did use some pecan pie cardstock, some garden green cardstock, some basic beige cardstock, some basic white cardstock, and then some real red ribbon. All right, first card, let's think back to how it was made. So this is the card as it was made. It had the red base, had basic beige kind of matte, had the flocking on the Christmas tree, and it opens like that. For the kind of improved version or fancier version, I did use some garden green cardstock, and I made it a half card on the front. So I cut off the bottom part here. For the inside, I gave it a real red matte. I used some basic white for the part to write on. I gave it the little strip at the bottom, that's garden green. And then this is that that base that came with the kit, just a little strip right there. And then for the front, I stuck to the layout as is with the card. It's still the same kind of Christmas tree, still says Merry Christmas, have my sequins and my star. I mounted that on the basic beige part, just like that. But then I just put it on the front of the card. It's a bottom open, top flip card. And then I added some real red ribbon across the top. For the second card, this is what it looked like. It was a landscape card, Joy to the World, opened like that. For the second version of the card, I kept it landscape. I brought in, this is where I brought in the pecan pie cardstock, so that's my card base. And so this is your 4 1/4, and then there's an inch right there. So 5 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then it's scored here at 1 inch or at 4 1/4. I used that basic beige piece as my mat. I have my basic white to write on. I have my strip of red. That was the card base, and then some garden green on the inside. I have my real red ribbon at the top, so you can see I get it in focus. I have there's that 1-inch piece of pecan pie. So I have a smaller piece here of the garden green. Then I took the matte, the other piece of basic beige, and used that as a matte for the card piece that came in the kit. And then once again, I kept the layout pretty much the same. Joy to the world, still have the sequins. And then across the top, I added that piece of real red ribbon. And card number 3, the original card, looked like this. With the ornament, opens like this. And for this one, I made a side fold, kind of like an envelope card, but it's to the side. So I kept the same thing here. I have my ornament, my deck the halls. I have the sequins. The only thing I did here was I added a piece of real red ribbon. I threaded it through this piece right here. Has like a little circle. I just threaded the ribbon through that little circle and tied a bow. And then the card opens to the side, and just like this, I have my mat of garden green. I have that piece of, it's that basic beige card front that came with the kit. And then I have just a little strip of the green card front to give the inside a little bit of visual interest. So there is version 2 of card number 3. All right, so for this next part, I am going to show you a really fancy version of these cards. I'm going to tie in some embossing folders, maybe some extra die cutting, some extra stamps, just whatever I have in my craft room. I am going to see what I can use to really make these cards some wow cards. See you soon. And finally, here we are at part 3. So in part 3, I'm going to show you the cards that I created with the paper pumpkin materials in conjunction with whatever caught my eye in my craft room. So I have included some gold foil paper, some other ribbons, some other embellishments, some designer series paper, some embossing folders to really create some wow cards. This is the first card that we made. I have all 3 that are in this style. The first card that is made according to the directions. This is what it looked like, just to review. Perfectly fine card. Opens up like this. And there is your level 1 card. I also showed you the second card that I made. So kind of sticking with the same materials. I drew in some other cardstock colors, a little bit of red ribbon, but for the most part, I used just the same materials, a different card style, but kind of still stuck with the plan. So this was level 2. And then this is the card that I came up with for part 3. As you can see, it still has the same paper with the tree. This is flocked and the red star at the top. However, I have switched out, this is, I think you can see it like that. This is gold embossed instead of just stamped with ink. I tied in some of these gold druzy embellishments from last year or the year before. I have some gold foil paper, ran this front part through with one embossing folder, mounted that on gold foil paper, mounted that on yet another piece of white that I ran through a snowflake embossing folder, and then popped all of that up on dimensionals on a thick white cardstock base. Inside looks like this, plenty of room to write a message, and then the little part at the bottom, just a little strip with embossing. Once again, all of this is matted on gold foil paper. For the envelope, since I didn't use since I didn't use designer series paper, I just embossed the envelope flap with the same embossing folder and thought that added a really nice touch to this first card. Okay, the second card, let's review where we've been. Let me get my stack here. All right, these are the 3 cards for card number 2. This is the first card that was made as is. Opens like that. The second card, where I added some extra ribbon and some different cardstock, kind of opens the same way, except this does have a little flap on the front. And then this is the card that I came up with for the third version. So I added some designer series paper. I made a pocket card. So this is 5 1/4 by 12 designer series paper. And then I scored it 4 and 8. And then I folded the corners in and folded the flaps over. And then that made the little pocket. So that I mounted on some of the paper that looked like this. It was one of the card fronts that came in the paper pumpkin kit. Mounted that, and then mounted the whole thing on some pecan pie cardstock. And then to finish off the front, I took the same layout with Joy to the World. I added the sequins, but then on the sequins, see if you can see that, I added some of the rhinestone embellishments on those. That created a pocket. So on the inside, I was able to use one of the pieces of the paper pumpkin kit. I cut it down just a little bit, stamped Merry Christmas, the Joy. So this part here, there is an extra one of these without the red letters, the extra white base with the red flocking on there. There's an extra one. There's 4 in the kit. So I took the 2 pieces off and just added them to the pocket, the piece that goes inside of the pocket. And then I added some more sequins with the rhinestone embellishments on that one. And it slips right down in here, just like that. So we have Merry Christmas, Joy to the World, and you have a really nice Christmas card to send to somebody. I did go ahead and use the envelope that came in the kit because I used the pecan pie. I used the basic beige piece with it. So I thought the envelope was fine, and can't wait to send this out to somebody. All right, the last set of cards. These are the ones that had the ornament. So reviewing the first card, this is the one that's made as is according to the directions. Has the ornament. You open it up and you have room to write. Then we did the second version. This was a little flap, like an envelope card, but I turned it sideways. I included the ornament, same as the other one. I did add a little bit of ribbon to the ornament, and you open it like that, and then you have room to write your Christmas message on the inside. And then this is what I came up with for the third version, the fancy version of the card. So I used a black card base, just the usual 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I mounted, or the mat is not whisper white, basic white. And then I took the green piece. It's this same green piece that came with the paper pumpkin kit. I took a 2.5-inch width, 2.5 by 5 1/4. Ran that through an embossing folder. That was the plaid, timeless plaid, or 3D plaid, or it's the embossing folder, the plaid embossing folder. Ran that through the machine, and then pulled out some designer series paper that I had left over, glued that down, and then this one is popped up on dimensionals to give it a little bit of dimension. This piece right here is one of the pieces in the paper pumpkin kit, one of the little extra card front pieces, mounted on basic black. I have my ornament, and then I have some awesome silver ribbon that I wrapped around the whole thing and tied at the top. And then I have my sequins, my red sequins with the rhinestone dots in there. And when you open it up, I stamped Merry Christmas, and then have the designer series paper down at the bottom, just to give it some visual interest and tie it all in together. Now this one I did have designer series paper, so rather than use the pecan pie envelope that came with the kit, I went ahead and put some of that designer series paper on the envelope flap, and we have a lovely coordinating envelope. All right, those are the 9 cards that I created. 3 as is, according to directions. 3 that are kind of leveled up. And then 3 that are really some wow cards. So whatever your level of comfort, level of expertise with card making and crafting, you can take this and make it your own. You can make the cards as is. If you have a little bit of extra supplies, you can make some great cards, or you can really make some wow cards depending on what you have and what you feel comfortable doing. I do have some supplies left over, so I didn't use everything, almost everything. I have one red card base. This is a complete card base that I have left. I have half, or just a little bit more than half, of another card base. I took bits and pieces off of there. I have half of a card base. I have one of these little card fronts, and I have some sentiment pieces left. I have a few red sequins, and I have 2 envelopes. So I could make 1 or 2 more cards. I can probably get 2 more cards out of this by adding some of my own materials to it. Or I have a 6-year-old grandson and a 5-year-old granddaughter that also love to craft. So I like to save my boxes. I have an empty box here that it came in. And I usually create each of them a box. I just have a box available out and open. And whenever I have any scraps or anything left over, I put those in the box. So then when they come to visit or the next time I see them, I give them their own little crafting supplies, and they love creating their own things with some leftover supplies. So, Paper Pumpkin, this is the October 2025, and I hope you have a great time crafting and stamping and enjoying your Paper Pumpkin kit. See you next month.